Hi folks, this is John with the Wingman 115 channel. I am so excited to be out here today. I have a very special guest with me. He is
Christopher with BlackRifle Survival.
Now, we're both San Diegans. We love the outdoors, and we just don't hook up enough like we would like to because our work schedules, but the stars did align and we were able to come out here today. Today we're going to be showcasing a blade. And this is a prototype blade. This is the SLYSTEEL Skeletek Bushcraft knife. I had to get it right because this is a brand new blade. I believe that Oliver, the owner of SLYSTEEL, is going to be releasing these blades very shortly. I believe either at Blade Show or right after Blade Show. And I'll leave links in the video description below. Today we decided that we're going to do a couple bushcraft projects. So Chris, if we could talk about that just a little bit, what we're going to do.
Utilizing the handle scales here, you'll see there's a bow drill divot. So of course we have to test that out. We're going to go ahead and make a bow drill set and try that out.
Now we got to be super careful out here because it is a tinderbox out here. Definitely. So we'll just get a flame, then we'll quickly extinguish it because we want to be responsible. We don't want to burn up our playground. But as always, we're going to cut away. We're going to do a quick specs rundown, show you up close and personal this knife, and then we'll get to hacking, slashing, doing all the fun stuff that we do with these blades, and we'll come back and we'll give you some final thoughts. So stick around, folks. Folks are probably wondering what this notch is right here. Now this is a fire steel notch, and he has it on both sides of the blade. So if you're right or left-handed, you'll be able to use this notch. So I asked Oliver, I said, how best can one utilize this with a ferro rod? He says, John, it's real super simple. You're going to anchor your fire steel, and then you're going to come in at about a 60-degree angle. So it's going to work really good if you're right or left-handed. And this is a half-inch ferro rod. So if you have a 3/8, if you have a 1/4 inch, it's not going to be a problem. Another point on here, and if I can find a photo, I'll insert it, is that this handle is skeletonized underneath. Oliver did that for a reason. Did it so he could maximize this knife where the balance point is just right on the bow drill divot. So you don't have a too forward heavy or too handle heavy blade, just that center of gravity, just right there. I gotta calibrate my finger, but right there, perfect. And then you choke up, and your index finger and middle finger, you're right in the center of this blade to maximize control. The reason I'm doing this is, say you're doing some sort of camp project, you're making a spoon or some sort of tool for around camp, and you just needed to start bowling something out. Well, the tip of this blade and the sweep just gives you a nice tool to shave, to cut, to bowl stuff out. It's been working really well. Smelling heavy turpentine Christopher found. Look at this piece of fatwood. It's just crazy. There's so much fatwood out here because of the fire that we had out here a couple of years ago. It's just nuts. Now this isn't the best wood to be doing a feather stick with because it's just super dried out so much that it just almost flakes off, but just want to give you an idea of how this, what I'm calling a Scandi Vex grind, because it's a Scandi with a little micro bevel. And I know that the bob had that, and I really like how the bob performed. So as you can see with this one, it's just making nice curls. And if I had great wood out here, just everything's just so dry, you would just get nice rolls. It's a great slicer. Oh, see, I broke my stick. Let's try another one. But yeah, I could sit here and make feather sticks all day long with that. I mean, the curls are just onion scale thin, which if you're looking for something to catch a spark, that's what you want to do. You want stuff that's going to be that thin. So great job. So for right now, we're going to whittle on this stick to make it into a spindle. And then Chris has found a board that we're going to use for a fireboard. And he's out trying to find a stick that we can use for a bow that is green enough out here that will take a bend without breaking. So I'm not going to bore you with 10 minutes of trying to carve a spindle. We'll come back when we have the spindle ready to go. I'm in that little back seat grip on here. Now let's just take off some of these dead branches that are here. Let's see. We're going to see if we can't utilize this as our bow. And then let me see if we can split this. Not bad for about a 3/4 inch green piece of oak. So we'll clean this up and then we'll get some cordage on it and see if we can't make this into a bow. Okay, what Chris is going to do, he's going to burn in that fireboard. Now normally we would have a sheath on this to protect your hand from getting injured, but this is a prototype and Oliver is still working on the design of the sheaths. So we're going to exercise extreme caution that we don't cut ourselves. Pretty burn. Now, any tips, Chris, on doing this? How you like to do it?
I just like to get aligned with the spindle as much as I can, and I am getting used to the location of the bow drill divot on this knife. But as long as I can keep it locked against my shin, keep most of my weight directly over it, it seems to work really well, and I do feel secure holding it this way.
All right, Chris, we got the initial burn in on the fireboard. So what would be the next step that we do in order to get this whole thing going?
First thing I'm going to do is clean off the tip here of the spindle. I'm going to get this back again so it's not as hard charred, because this is very hard now. And I want to continue cutting a V-notch into this hearthboard down below so we can make a V to catch the coal underneath.
Cool. So coming up, we'll have it all set to go, and then we'll see if we can get a fire started with the bushcraft knife. All right, folks, Chris is set up. We're going for the final burn. He's coming in hot. I don't see any smoke.
Yeah, the notch is too big.
All right, so take two. We're gonna make another notch, burn it in, and then we'll be back. All right, we keep it real on the Wingman 115 channel. Our first notch was a little wide. We're going with a smaller notch in our fireboard, and we're ready to rip and grip.
Let's do it.
I see a little bit of smoke. What do you think? We had a spindle fly out, so sometimes that's going to happen. I'm starting to see a little smoke. So what we got to do, I don't know if the wood's generating enough heat for a coal, but it is definitely making enough dust. Let's hope we got a coal. Nope, the wood's not doing it, but that gave you a good illustration about it. And you know what? The woods gods are probably shining on us because it is fire season out here. Now for some final thoughts, I'm going to hand it off to Chris from BlackRifle Survival.
This SLYSTEEL SBX1, first impressions when I was using it, it was an excellent knife. Honestly guys, the grip on this one, that's hard to beat. It's very comfortable. It's solid, it's locked into my hand, it's not going anywhere. The grind on it's very forgiving, it carves very well. But with the notch, I didn't get a chance to use a ferrocerium rod on it, but John went ahead and did that, and that worked perfect. We didn't do batoning?
We didn't do any batoning, but you know, there's going to be bushcrafters also using this. So I'm going to save a little bit for them out there. Because you know how much I love to baton with blades out here in the woods.
So we gotta try that out. It's a comfortable sized knife. The length overall is perfect. This would be a great belt knife. Again, I don't know what the sheath looks like for it, but considering for what it is, this would be a nice everyday carry, and definitely for the backwoods, it's approved. I'm very happy with using it, and thank you, John, for allowing me to be on your channel to review this.
No problem at all.
Knife. Very cool.
So one thing that I really liked about it is I'm a fan of that Scandi Vex grind on there. But what I really liked was the jimping on here wasn't too robust to where it's just biting right into your hand. And that little fire steel notch, I was a skeptic at first, but it just fans out globs of sparks out of there. Now, when I first saw the handle, I was a little bit of a skeptic myself. I didn't know if I would get a hot spot between the choil and the regular handle, but we've been using it now for a couple hours out here.
I've been using gloves.
And I've been playing around with it at home, and I'll insert a photo of my little feeble attempt at a tri-stick playing around in my backyard. So I carved with it for a couple hours. I got no hot spots at all. And if you have your reservations about this, let not your heart be troubled. Your hand fits in there really, really well.
That's my favorite grip.
And as I was chopping that backseat grip, my middle finger fit in there perfect. So I had like a good pendulum chopping. And I mentioned before the sweep and the blade. I just think that it would be a good all-around hunting, fishing knife. If you're into bushcraft, it's definitely going to thrive and excel at that.
This knife will do it all, definitely.
Yeah. So that's our take on this. I'm not going to give a rating on this. I'll let you guys give me a rating in the comments below. You guys know how I rate all my knives between 1 and 5, 1 being a dumper, 5 being a Grand Slam. Let me know what your thoughts are from seeing it up close, from seeing us work with it. Yeah, we couldn't get a fire, but you know what? That's reality.
We tried though.
We tried. We're not going to sugarcoat it and pretend that we're something that we're not on the channel. Maybe it's God's blessing because it is,
Hot today. Yeah.
well, that and just
Everything's
flashpoints
dry.
just uber off the chart. So with that, this is John with the Wingman 115 channel, and
Christopher with BlackRifle Survival.
check his channel out. I'll leave a link in the video description below, and I'll also leave a link to Oliver's website at slysteel.com. Everything will be down in the description below. Folks, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.